more into the conversation about what happened in Boston. And again, our objection is not to individual people. Our objection is to the ideology of Islam. Let's be very, very clear about this. The problem here is Islam. The problem is the religion of Islam. The problem is the ideology of Islam. The problem is the holy book of the Quran, the holy book of Islam. The problem here is the prophet of Islam. The problem here is the God of Islam. Let's be very clear about who the problem is here. This is not about individual people, because we have no beef with people. The people we have a beef with are the people who are devout followers of this ideology. Now, they become a problem. They're a devout follower of this ideology. It is the ideology that is the problem. One of the things I suggested this morning, the immigration hearing this morning, Janet Napolitano was supposed to be at this immigration hearing this morning. She's a no-show. She bailed. You haven't heard anything from the White House. Have you seen how conspicuously silent the White House has been today? Got a story, by the way, from the Saudi news that Michelle Obama went to visit that Saudi national. Remember the guy that they were detaining in the hospital? I have no idea whether this information is valid or not. It's one of their leading news sources. I haven't heard this anywhere else. But the Saudi news reporting that Michelle Obama actually went to visit the Saudi national in the hospital, check up on his health. And we don't know, again, whether it's true or not. It's just a highly respected news source or highly trusted news source in Saudi Arabia. Anyway, I have no idea what I was talking about. I just got myself completely distracted. But where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. We want to be very, very clear that this is not about us disliking any individuals. As we've seen right here, according to the gym partner of this guy, he was a nice guy. Let me just read his description one more time off of my Twitter feed. He was a really nice guy. He helped people at the gym. He was friendly with everyone. This comes as a complete shock. Here's the sister. I mean, here's the woman that grew up with these guys. This is what she says about her brothers. They were great people. I never would have expected it. And here's what she said about Dzhokhar, the guy that's still on the run. He is an amazing child. Now, apparently one of these brothers actually got their U.S. citizenship on 9/11, eerily enough, has actually become a United States citizen. I think he's the one that's still on the run. And so again, the point here is that you can't tell. There just isn't any way to tell. Everything we hear about these guys, they were wonderful, they were friendly, they were nice, they were helpful. Well, then how do you know? How are we able to recognize the difference between the moderate Muslims from whom we have nothing to fear, and thank God there are so many of those in America? How do we tell the difference between those and the Muslims who are going to wind up trying to kill us? And that's why I've suggested that it's time for us to reconsider our immigration policy. Apparently, Chuck Grassley, and kudos to him for this, brought up the subject of what happened in Boston at the immigration hearing, the Senate immigration hearing today, and Pat Leahy tried to shut him down. But he said, look, we should not be talking right now about relaxing immigration standards until we have sorted through what happened in Boston. And what I have suggested is that we need to have a new immigration policy. And the immigration policy is simply this. When they want to immigrate to the United States, do you believe that the Quran is the holy book of God? That's the only question we need to ask. And if they say yes, we say, no, I'm sorry. Because your holy book, and it's not that it's a book, it's what's in your holy book. You have just said this is the Holy Quran. And it teaches you to kill Americans. We can't let you into our country. We can't invite that kind of cancer into our culture, because Boston is what you get when you do that. And we cannot take that chance. The security and safety of the American people is far too important to us to admit into our shores somebody whose God teaches him to kill his hosts. I mean, to me, that's just a form of absolute insanity. 888-589-8840. And once again, let's be very clear. Our issue here is with ideology. It's not with people. It's with ideology. It's with the Quran. It's with the religion of Islam. It's with their prophet. It's with their holy book. And it's with their God. That's where the problem is. It's with ideology, not with individual people. Let's go to Frank in Texas. Frank, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Thanks for having me. Yes, I got a couple questions. It's like, how long ago did the definition of terrorism change from Islam or jihad to Americans as being the terrorists? First of all. Second of all, what tools are being used to overthrow governments in Libya, Egypt, Syria? In other words, we're using different people now to overthrow these governments, you see? And who's funding these people? And who funded the people in Benghazi? And who's not giving answers to what happened there and Fast and Furious?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like it all connects, and guess where all those threads lead to?
Right back to the White House, I'm guessing is where you're
right
going.
There, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
They all lead there. And so when you're talking about these two young men, who's to say they even acted on their own? Because they're being used as tools by this administration.
Yeah. And this is an interesting thing, and I'm glad you brought that up, Frank, and I appreciate the call. But this whole idea whether they acted alone, I mean, the left, the media is really wigged out on this because they do not know how to approach this thing because they want these guys to be lone wolves. But on the other hand, they also want this to be a part of some kind of international group to kind of take the heat off of these two guys so they can shift the blame from these guys. Well, these guys were just puppets. They were just tools. So they want to try to protect these guys because they were Muslims. These guys were Tea Partiers, man. All we'd be hearing about is all of their connections and all the groups they belong to. And we'd be seeing profiles of their friends and every group that they've ever belonged to in their life. So they kind of don't know what to do. They want to try to find some way to cover for these guys by linking them to an international group. But then, oh, man, that's going to implicate Islam. That's going to make Islam look bad. We can't do that. So they are just kind of twisting themselves into total pretzels. And this piece, I think it was on BuzzFeed or where they said the motives are far from obvious. That's how they put it. Motives are far from obvious. Well, we just read to you what the motive is. Slay the idolaters wherever you find them. Their motive was to please Allah, to be good, devout Muslims. And the father referred to the young guy, the guy that's on the run right now, as a true angel. That's what the father thought about him. And this was ominous. He said, look, if they kill him, all hell will break loose. I'm just quoting him, but he's saying this thing is going to completely blow up if my son, my true angel, my son who was a true angel, that's what's going to happen if he's killed. And you assume that means that he's anticipating that the Muslim jihadists who are here in the United States are just going to go berserker. That's the only way I can read that. Well, let's go back to the phones. Let's go to John in Florida. John, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet.
For you. I like to say that Islam is devil worship, and Allah is the devil, and Muhammad is the false prophet, and when the Mahdi comes, he'll be the Antichrist.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right, John, and that's what I was talking about earlier. The whole dynamic in the book of Revelation is the effort of Satan to substitute a false Christ, a false prophet, a false God, and a false religion, and a false political system. That's what Satan is all about in the book of Revelation. And you put your finger right on it, John. Here it is. This is the religion of the Antichrist. It is Islam. And it's got a false prophet, Muhammad. It's got a false God, Allah. It's got a false religion, the false holy book and the Quran. And I think probably, if anything, and he wants to establish a counterfeit government to the kingdom of God, the caliphate, worldwide caliphate run by Islam and run by the Islam imams controlling the world. All right, John, listen, I appreciate that. Very perceptive call. Let's see. Now, by the way, here's that story from a Saudi news site. It's a well-known Saudi Arabian news site, Okaz.com, issued a report saying that Michelle Obama visited the two young Saudi Arabian nationals who were in the hospital. And it's interesting that, and we still don't know the details of whether that guy is going to be deported from the country or not. Remember the guy, the Saudi national that was, and that guy's hinky. I think it was Walid Shubat revealed that Saudi national that they've now said is not a suspect and not a person of interest, because we now think we know the guys that did it, and both of them Muslims, and they're from Islamic fund. People from Chechnya, more people from this hotbed of Islamic fundamentalism. So anyway, this Saudi may be deported. We're told that it was because of security reasons, national security reasons. We know from what Walid Shubat said that this guy is part of a clan, the Al-Harbi clan. You can tell what clan somebody's from by their name. He was from the Al-Harbi clan, like the Bin Laden clan. You can tell what clan they belong to. So these people are relatives, maybe distant, but they're relatives. And he had 5, this Saudi that they say they're going to deport this week. That Saudi, and again, doesn't look like he's connected directly to this bombing, but he has 5 members of that clan that are known operatives in Al-Qaeda, and he has 5 members of that clan that are currently inmates at Guantanamo Bay. And instead of keeping this guy, detaining this guy to interrogate him, and find out what he knows, they're letting him go back to Saudi Arabia. And this is a reminder. I don't know if you remember this. I'll finish up when we come back. But George Bush, and remember, we finger anybody here. We don't play favorites. The truth is our guy. George Bush did the same thing right after 9/11. He made it possible for 140 Saudis to leave the country when nobody else could fly. We'll talk about that when we come back. Focal Point AFR Talk. Stay with us. Back after the news.
American Family Radio.